Steve MacLean looks for a first Sheffield Wednesday goal, and he's got it. He scored 25 times for Scunthorpe last season, moved south from Glasgow Rangers, and has given Sheffield Wednesday a lead within 10 minutes here at...
Minutes later, Wednesday got the winner, a neat link-up between Paul Heckingbottom and John Paul McGovern, the prelude to Steve MacLean's crisp finish. To make it 2-0, and although Steve MacLean pulled one back with a perfectly directed header
to North Wales, it could hardly have begun more auspiciously. The wide men John Paul McGovern and Chris Brunt played major roles, and Wrexham, whose decent start to the season was undermined by a 10-point penalty reduction for going into administration, was soon on the back foot. Brunt crossed, McGovern shot, and Steve MacLean had the honour of scoring the first goal of the Sturrock regime.
Just over an hour of the game gone. Still Sheffield Wednesday a goal to the good. They might be two here. Off the crossbar by MacLean. Swindon clinging on by their fingernails. Collins now. The danger's not over yet. It is 2-0. And MacLean, having been denied by the woodwork, makes sure about 20 seconds later from close range. No chance at all for Evans. And Swindon are 2 down and in deep trouble.
In a game packed with incident, the referee gave the Owls a helping hand when he ruled that there'd been a deliberate handball. It enabled Steve MacLean to register his 7th goal of the campaign and the 2nd from the 12-yard mark. Even that
eventually ran out.
Piling forward again, the Owls. Chris Brunt is there. He puts it across. MacLean on the spot. Steve MacLean 1-0. It's been coming.
MacLean picks himself up and does the business.
On Sunday afternoon, the Owls were no doubt happy to be on their travels again, especially over the short distance to Bellevue, Doncaster. And they gave the Rovers a lesson from the off. The day's first goal was bagged by Steve MacLean, moving into double figures for the season. Second half, Jones showed his strength too, muscling his way through to set up MacLean's second of a one-sided contest. Under Scott, who'd notched 3 hat-tricks in the previous campaign for Scunthorpe, completed his first in the blue and white stripes to walk away with the match ball.
The former Glasgow Rangers star was himself given the chance to make it 5 in 3 games by winning a penalty for himself out of the ex-Wolves defender Neil Emblin. Needless to say, he took the spot kick himself with great assurance.
And the crime compounded by Steve MacLean's penalty conversion.
A double over Port Vale kept the unbeaten run going up to 8 now, as Steve MacLean showed why he's one of the best young strikers around.
Still on the fringes of the playoffs themselves, but had stumbled in recent weeks, so their nerves frayed when Chris Brunt's free kick came down off the crossbar and Steve MacLean reacted quickest.
To Saltergate proved to be more productive. Lee Bullen involved on a positive note, this time swung over a cross, and Ian Evert's fresh air shot enabled Lee Peacock to set up Steve MacLean. Chris Brunt figured in the other 2 goals that came Wednesday's way. First, his deep cross was met by a punishing MacLean header.
Again, the referee came to Wednesday's aid in awarding them a penalty. He'd seen the shirt almost taken off Steve MacLean's back. And despite the protests, led by player coach Andy Legg, a spot kick it was. And for the 6th time this season, the Scot was spot on.
cross. Talbot has a stab. Is he still going to get there? He was pulled back by Westwood. It's a penalty.
Well, there certainly looked to be contact there, but Craddock and Westwood livid. We see here, gets a lucky bounce, gets in front of Westwood. There's a push on there's an arm on the back of him. You can't do that. And he's having a right go at the referee. He's off as well. Well, how games turn on the head so quickly. There's definitely a hand on the back there.
A red card for Chris Westwood. Hartlepool in the last 10 minutes down to 10 men, and now relying on a goalkeeper who saved 2 penalties in a shootout to get them here to try and preserve their lead. And the man on whose fitness they've gambled has the task of drawing Sheffield Wednesday level. Steve MacLean, who they thought would miss the rest of the season, plays a crucial part in it by scoring the goal that draws Wednesday level.
Well, how's your bottle, son? Oh, it's all right, thank you very much. He's only had a touch of the ball, but he's confident enough to go and stick that ball a bit luckily in the back of the net. The keeper's unlucky, but he's brave enough to take it. Look at that, he gets a hand on it. The powers beat him, but that takes a big man in a big situation to do what he did, believe me. Gets a hand, but no chance of stopping the power. And it looked...
Or it may be MacLean. Brunt's handing over the penalty duties, and Wednesday have one back. Steve MacLean with his first goal of the season. After 3 broken legs, he's back to get on the score sheet. Wednesday have a response here.
The Royals' defence was opened up by Frankie Simick's surging run, which was halted unfairly by Bobby Convey. Not too many complaints about the penalty. The spot kick was coolly dispatched by Steve MacLean, 1-1, and the home side then went for the kill. In the closing minutes, it took some stout defending by...
Denied that time. But Wednesday eventually got the chance to take the lead. Harley hauled down Frankie Simick. And Steve MacLean stepped up coolly to slot the spot kick into the right-hand corner to open the Owls' goals account. But the rub of the green was back with the Owls camp when Steve MacLean won a penalty, and apparently tripped by Rangers keeper Paul Jones. And MacLean got up to convert the spot kick and give the caretaker boss a dream start. At the very last minute, Badji Bagheera carved out the winner, flicking on a long throw. Steve MacLean stuck out a foot to steer the ball past Flinders to stretch Wednesday's unbeaten run to 3.
And Brunt and MacLean just overdid that somewhat. McShane comes to get it. Simek though retrieves it, and still Simek. Well, that's no penalty. It continues. MacLean penalty this time. Greening's challenge, and Kevin Wright says penalty. And any fleeting hopes of a comeback, well, they're surely going to go now. Greening's challenge, penalty. We're in stoppage time anyway, and MacLean makes the game safe, and it's the 4th away defeat in a row for Albion.
We wasn't playing as a team at the top.
Boxing Day fixture was a trip to Stoke. The hosts have been in great form at the Britannia Stadium. And when Stephen MacLean scored after 35 minutes, he breached Stoke's stronghold for only the 5th time this season. When Anthony Kay slipped, Steve MacLean punished him, nipping in smartly before picking his spot with a crisp low shot.
This was always going to be a tough tie for Manchester City against a team who've now found a bit of form in the Championship. On by Lunt. Oh, they've got their equalising goal. It's Stephen MacLean. The perfect response
Wednesday, though, levelled in the 52nd minute when Marcus Tudgai broke free. The loose ball fell into the path of Steve MacLean, who scored with a low shot from the edge of the area. It was Jermaine Johnson who carved out Wednesday's winner 2 minutes into stoppage time. His shot slammed against Hunt's arm and the referee pointed to the spot. Steve MacLean drilled in a dramatic winner. Wednesday was still in the bottom half of the table, but
as controversial goals go, this one was surely up there with the best of them. Plymouth goalkeeper Luke McCormick certainly appeared to have his legs whipped from under him, and even goalscorer Steve MacLean looked a little embarrassed before breaking into a slightly over-enthusiastic celebration. But despite Argyle's protest, the goal stood, much to the dismay of their manager.
To be honest with you,
of the campaign. 2 minutes after the interval, Steve MacLean opened up a 2-1 lead. The striker playing a 1-2 with Dion Burton before beating keeper Jan. MacLean, though, finally beat Price on the hour as Kenny Lunt threaded the ball through to the ex-Rangers striker, who coolly swept the ball beyond the keeper's reach from 15 yards. Gary Steve MacLean, though, was again the match winner after Andy Marshall failed to hold Chris Brunt's cross.